Hi, everyone. This is Chala Dinkoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert. I'm coming to you live with a Tuesday Tea Time with Chala, but it is a very different one today. I'm going to talk about the earthquake that I've been sort of consumed with in the country of my parents' birth, not mine. I was born here, but let me take a sip. Oh, that's burning. So you, I mean, when I look at my feed in social media, when I look at the news, it's so jarring to live in the world of this hell that these two countries, Turkey and Syria, are going through, and then to be, hit with fashion tips, and it just seems so irrelevant that I just honestly couldn't come up with anything that I wanted to talk about except for, asking for help with and telling you what's going on. Because if you're like a regular person, you could just see it on the news and it would be just another part of the world that has really no relevance to you. And, you pause and feel sorry for people, but level of devastation. And, I have to admit that I have been guilty of doing that for any of the other times that these things have happened in the world. Felt sorry for them, felt horrible for them, did my best to give monetary funds through the regular channels that I normally would give to, and is just hitting so close to home. First of all, my 88-year-old dad and my 80-year-old mom, who live in Montreal, are vacationing there. So they're vacationing there. They're not vacationing there, thank God. They're vacationing about 9 hours drive from there. So they're in the Mediterranean. And so this hit, and I was, of course, like a lot of my friends have been asking, are they okay? They're okay, but the whole country is in like crisis. And an enormous amount, it's like 10 provinces in the southern border of Syria, including a little bit of Syria, have been hit. And Turkey's already, a developing country, but the southern part is even like less developed, and the infrastructure, and this is where, the rubber hits the road, is like when there's a disaster, and it's bad. So this earthquake is one of like the biggest, it's the biggest they've had in 80 years. And I was there for their last biggest one in 99. I was on vacation with my parents there too. So this one's a 7.8. So to give you nobody's ever had like the highest ever registered in the world has been like 9.5, and I think that was in the 60s. And there was one that was the tsunami one, that one, the Boxing Day tsunami, that one was like 9, and the Japan one, I think was 9.5. So nothing's ever. I think I've read that it's impossible to have a 10. So this is huge. And then they had another huge one right after, I guess. And so a lot more buildings came down, and this happened at 4 a.m. when everybody was sleeping. And the biggest issue is there are no roads, there is no heat, and it's like for Americans, like 14 degrees. For Canadians, it's like minus, I don't know, minus 10. And there's no water, there's nowhere to stay, nowhere to go. Everything's decimated, everything's devastated. And there's people who are like calling from underneath the rubble. They're like doing live stream videos, and nobody can reach them because people are trying to dig with their hands to rescue their families. It is utter devastation. Like, if you want to lose your appetite, go ahead and watch, any of those streams. It's horrendous. But the reason why I'm doing this is, one, because it's so jarring for me to see, like, when I'm living in that world of watching what's happening in horror. I mean, there's a picture of a man who is holding his dead 16-year-old daughter's hand from a rubble, like inside the rubble. He's outside of it, but he's holding her hand from inside the rubble. It's just horrific. I can't even talk about it. But so the whole idea is, why I'm telling you this is because a lot of us, in North America, are just going, like nothing's happened in the world. So I just wanted to bring this to you as somebody who usually talks to you about how to sell and how to market, but this is part of my world too. So I wanted to share that with you and get raise some awareness about it, but also to get you to help, because I mean, there's a lot of people here like who are trying to gather like blankets and to send to there, but it's a huge undertaking. Why not just send money? I think money's the best. Now, the biggest thing is like, who do you send the money to? That's the other thing. When there's no infrastructure, like who's the reliable person who's actually going to be able to do something with it. So I've asked my my friends who live and work there, and they trust this organization, so I'm going to be donating through that, and I'll give you the link for that. And it's called ahbab, which means friend, so it's ahbap.org. And yeah, if you feel called to do it, I mean, there's lots of other organizations, but apparently this one is more direct. So many people in all of Turkey have mobilized, and everybody's trying to do their own thing, because honestly, like, the government's just not enough. They don't have enough money, they don't have enough resources, and it's some sort of specialized help that they need in those regions. Now every country sent some contingency of people to help, of course, but it's the devastation is so huge, it's not enough, and there's just not enough resources. When it's a poor country, those are the people who suffer the most. And I've heard that in Syria it's even worse, because they have to deal with the politics, and they're war devastated, and now they're devastated by this. So anyway, didn't mean to bring you down, but I did want to drop in and tell you that that's what's going on with me. And I'm pretty much, looking at what's happening every minute. But in other news, I am doing my first ever training for ExxonMobil in 2 days. And we're going to be talking about pitching, and we're going to be talking about what gets dry attention, which is like maybe a smile and some interest from a buyer, but versus what gets deep attention, versus what gets an actual meeting with the buyer. So I'm going to be co-presenting with WeBank, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're interested, let me know. Drop me a message and I'll send you the link, because that's I believe that's a closed door training, but I can hook you up. So hopefully you're feeling better than I am, and all the best to you on this Tuesday. And I hope to have really good, much better news, much better things to talk about in next Tuesday. Although this problem is not going to just disappear overnight or by next Tuesday, but hopefully I'll have some good news to give you. All the best, everyone.